Well, hi everybody, Lisa Tamati here, and welcome to your Epigenetics webinar. We're super excited to have you here, and we're going to be taking you through this amazing platform and this tool and how you can use it. I'm with my wingman, Neil Wagstaff. How are you doing, Neil?
I'm good, Lisa. You good?
Very, very good. You ready to do this thing?
Yeah, let's get into it. It's such an exciting subject, and we've had so many big wins with it that it's about time we start sharing it with everyone else as well, I think. Right, team. So Lisa and I have been doing what we've been doing for over 25 years now. Lisa in a ultra endurance background and running a long races. Me in the health and fitness industry. And when we started working together, a lot of the questions we continuously asked ourselves is, why are these programs that we're looking at and putting into practice working with some people, and why they're not with other people? And we kept coming backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. We'd implement certain things in Lisa's training, get results. Other things we wouldn't. Then as we've gone on and on in our careers and explored our own personal health as well, again, certain things would get us great results, certain things wouldn't. We then started to share those principles with our families as well. Again, sometimes get results, sometimes wouldn't. So we just continuously ask this question. And the main question we had is, we really need to create a user manual for our own bodies. So as we dug deeper and deeper, we started to find the answers, and thankfully can now share that with you through this program. So we're all unique, and we definitely are. If you look around at your friends and family, we're all different shapes and sizes. We all respond to different things in different ways. We all interact differently from a social point of view, and we all respond differently to the environment around us. Now, if you look at, we're all given a certain number of genes, and depending on the text you read, that usually sits around the 23,000 genes. So it's 23,000 genes in your body that you were given, and you're given when you're born. Now, they're what you're given. You can't necessarily change those, but what people often do is use their genes as a reason they can or can't do things. What we've now established and learned, which is where the epigenetics comes in, is that as much as 95% of your health, well-being, and how you operate from a health and fitness point of view can be controlled by your lifestyle and environment. So effectively, with those genes, you can actually turn them on, turn them off. You can really control how they express themselves. So a combination of your genotype, your lifestyle, and your environment, it gives you what you're looking at now. So as you look at Lisa and I here, this is our phenotype. This is a result of what we're doing from a lifestyle and environment point of view to control to look after our bodies. Okay, makes sense, Lisa, if you want to add?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like having a triangle. So you've got in the middle your genes, and then it's having the right combination. If you picture a triangle around that circle with your nutrition, your environment, and the lifestyle factors, and these three things, if you get them right, and your bubble is right in the middle, then you're going to have the right combination of things to optimize. So this is all about optimizing your genes and optimizing your health and your performance.
Good, thanks, Lisa. So, are we in control of our health? The question to that is often in many cases we don't think we are, but we are in a position to control what we're doing and how we do it. Looking at the slide you guys and girls got in front of you always makes us chuckle that some people will literally walk past the bakers and feel like they were putting on weight. They walk into the bakers and feel like they're putting on loads of weight. Others will walk in, eat everything they want, and don't change shape at all. You'll all know those people in your life that you'll say, I can't believe you eat that. And I look at it and I get a totally different response. Other examples are, you may have exercised with someone and they end up with an amazing quick change in shape that happens in sort of 4 to 6 weeks time. You're still going as hard as you can and aren't getting any results. So the reason is really understanding that we are in control of our health. We don't have to guess anymore like we've done in the past and wonder why the lady in the picture there is still smoking cigarettes at 100 years old. Yeah. It's how our body and our genes are expressing themselves that allow us to really understand how these things happen and make sure we're healthy and happy. So the age of personalisation, this is the direction health and fitness has been going in for a few years now. And it will be the only way to move forward with health and fitness and your well-being. So one person's food is another person's poison. We all respond differently to the same environment. So if you can understand your own individual needs, you'll understand how and what you need to do to move forward. So those foods, we're not just talking about the little things with very fried and fatty foods and obvious unhealthy food. We're talking about healthy foods, as in, for some people, kale will be great. For other things, other people, it will cause inflammation in their body. A certain environment, a nice warm environment for some people will make them feel very comfortable. For others, they will be feeling so uncomfortable that they want to leave that environment. An air-conditioned office for some people is the worst place for them to be. Others, it's the most comfortable place for them to be. And the whole time this is going on, your genes are expressing themselves in a different way. They're wanting to do different things based on what your body is doing at that time, and how that environment is controlling the situation. So same genes, different environment. Again, just to reinforce the point, from a genetic point of view, you can be given, if you look at the identical twins in the picture, you can be given the same set of genes, it'd be exposed to a different environment. So that's a perfect example of how those genes are expressing themselves in a totally different way. At some point in these ladies' life, they will have done some different things, made some different choices, been around different people, a different environment. This resulted in a massively different phenotype. So how they now look and how they feel is totally different. On the same token, we've looked at the same genes, but a different environment. If you look at different genes within the same environment, and come back to that example of doing an exercise program or going to a regular exercise class. We look at an exercise program, and you may have attended one over a 12-week period. And some people in the group, amazing results. They literally start doing the exercise, they end up with wider shoulders, narrower waist, more lean tissue, looking good, feeling ready for the beach. And others have actually put on weight by the end of the trial. Now, again, this just shows that the same environment isn't going to work for every person's genes. So one size really doesn't fit all. So you need to start looking at when things like the time of day you're exercising, the type of exercise you're doing, and who you're doing it with. For some of you, doing it individually is going to be the way you want to do it, and that will allow your body to relax. For others, you're going to get much better results if you're doing it in a group. And if you want to jump in with that, Lise?
Yeah, I mean, just as a classic example, I have a very, muscular body type. If I go to the gym and start training with weights, I will put on muscle. Neil is a little bit further down on the circle, so we'll show you the circle in a little bit time. Very, very fast, will never get big legs, like he can do what he likes. And he needs to understand the differences in his body type and understand what will cause the changes and how to sort of manipulate that so that it becomes the best for you and getting what you want. And it's also about self-acceptance, understanding what you are and who you are, and that it's okay to be you.
You're very polite about my legs, Lise.
Oh, you've got gorgeous legs. I'll swap.
So controlling your health. So really, epigenetics, epi just refers to outside or above. Okay, so outside or above, and genetics, as we've already talked about. So it's what those things that are outside or above your genes, the things that can have an influence on them. So looking at this slide in front of us, all the things we've started to talk about, like environment, exercise, nutrition, how your body responds to those things will dictate how the gene expresses itself. So can't reinforce this enough, that we really are, and a lot more than a lot of people understand, in control of how our genes express themselves. So by doing that, we can actually change the health of our body, not just from an emotional point of view and a fitness point of view, from a medical point of view as well, and a disease point of view. So if we put ourselves in a position where we can do that, that's pretty powerful. The other piece that we haven't touched on yet is just the emotional health as well. So the way your genes will switch on and express themselves, a lot of you listening, I'm sure, will know how good it feels to laugh. So simple laughter, hanging out with people that make you laugh, hanging out with people that you have fun with, and how much better you feel afterwards. That's not just you just feeling better. There's actually a whole chemical reaction, a series of hormones that are released, and therefore, as a result of those reactions and those hormones, your genes are now expressing themselves in a different way. So gone are the days where we may be advising that you just need to do more squats to change shape. We may actually, and we are with a lot of people now, we're advising and recommending and prescribing coaching more laughter, more connection time, as well as doing the exercise, but the exercise might not now be the priority. Right, so when you understand your needs, what it allows us to do, it allows us to eliminate all trial and error. Okay, so there's no more guesswork. We don't have to now go, oh, I'm going to try this and see what happens. I've tried that before. My friend told me they got great results with fasting. My other friends got great results on the keto diet. We don't need to try anymore. We can work out exactly which diet's going to work for us, or which exercise routine is going to work for us. We can maximize our results. Because we're now getting results, motivation and adherence to what we're doing with our lifestyle starts to go up. From a looking at the bigger picture from business and a day-to-day point of view, if you understand a lot of the things we've been talking about with how people can positively express through their genes, then we can build and lead stronger teams. Lisa and I have had great, massive wins just with how we work together, just by understanding that we are different people. I love detail. I love to think in a logical way, and a way where I've got information in front of me. Once I've got the information, I'm ready to act. Lisa on the other side would rather jump across the fence, straight in, feet first, and then work out what to do from there. Yeah, that used to frustrate both of us, didn't it, Lisa? We used to butt heads a little bit.
It led to a lot of frustration, because I want to just take action and jump in. Adrenaline is my dominant hormone, so I'm just go, go, go. I don't always plan that well. I'm not that detailed orientated. And so in the business relationship, it would often cause a little bit of stress, because Neil would be like, whoa, 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 slow down. We've got to work this out. And he's a bit more skeptical. Now it's actually good, because we understand that we think in a different way, and we use that to our advantage. So I'm doing now the jobs where, I'm tearing down the barriers, and we're doing stuff, and Neil's picking up in pieces and making the programs in behind, if you like, doing all the structural things that I'm not good at. So understanding your strengths and your weaknesses in regards to, corporate teams, or even within your family, can be really, really powerful. One more quick example, my husband is what they call a diplomat, which we're going to show you on the wheel in a minute. He's very slow and methodical and very hard to get moving, but once he's on a mission, he does it really, really properly. So I tend to do 100 things at once, and none of them are done absolutely properly. And he's the opposite. So if I ask him to build a fence in the backyard, it might take him 3 years to get there, but it will be a beautiful fence, perfect. If I do it, it'll be a half-assed fence, and but it will be done tomorrow. So that's the difference. And now we understand that about each other. We can help each other where we're weak, and pull each other along where we're good strengths. Life.
And that then allows you to find, which I agree totally. Sam and I have had some massive wins. Lisa, my wife Sam, is finding out more about her health type, and then where I like to flow. And if you can find your flow personally, and then with your family, and then within your team and your business, the wins are again just massive. And it comes down to understanding who we are, and we should be comfortable with being who we are as well. So there's a huge amount of technology and science behind the platform we're using for this. A massive amount of research has gone into it from some of the best medical and health minds in the world. Over 20,000 cases. That number's growing rapidly now. That's up a lot higher now, with people that have been through the platform, people that have used the platform, and people that have got great results and experience from it. The sciences that are behind it, you can see some of them up on the side there. There's neuroscience, there's embryology, there's looking at phenotype, 15 different sciences. And what's been such a game changer with the platform and how it works is that it's using both Eastern and Western medicine. So using both together, and often within medicine and different areas of medicine and health, people work in silos. So they just work, if you're looking at embryology, then we look at embryology. We're not looking at that with some of the Eastern medicines as well, like Chinese medicine. May look at phenotype or biotypology, but we're not looking at them all together. What we're doing now is looking at all of these sciences together, and through an amazing use of technology and various different algorithms, can now really start to give us the information we need as coaches and individuals to really move forward with our health and the people we're helping. Anything you want to add with the science list?
Yeah, it's really robust. For science, you can there's hundreds of scientists that have worked on this, and over 20 years, it's a really in-depth, really amazing. Like, there's 10,000 data points that are collected in the actual questionnaire that you do online, and there's no DNA involved. They get the DNA or the specifics of your genes from the measurements that they do, and the ratios, and your ancestry and your medical history, and that gives us absolute practical advice in relation to our food, our nutrition, our fitness, place, social, career, and mind. And these are areas that we can actually do something with this information. It's not just academic. It's like really being able to find what is the best way forward for me in every area of my life.
Perfect. And interestingly as well, as Lisa said before, I like detail. I can be quite skeptical. I like to have information in front of me first. So I pulled this apart. I was very skeptical to start, and I was very much like, yeah, this sounds too good to be true. So I've literally pulled it back layer by layer by layer until it's got to the point where I've practiced it with and used it myself and everyone we're coaching through the process, and the results just keep speaking for themselves. It's now repeatable. They keep speaking for themselves. And interestingly, when I open my profile, it said at the top, likely to be skeptical and wants detail.
Hang on for the money.
So everyone is, as we've said it along, everyone is different and should be unique. So you'll see in front of you the wheel, and this is the wheel we use to allow people to understand their health type a little bit more clearly. So 6 different health types. Down at the bottom, we've got the sensor, moving around to the crusader, the activator, connector, guardian, and diplomat. Now, you imagine this wheel like a 3D wheel. No one's going to fall exactly the same. So not all guardians are going to be the same. Not all activators will be the same. Everyone will still be their unique self. This just allows us to understand the process a little bit better. So there's some people, for example, looking at the activators, they work very well on high protein. So work well on good amounts of protein. They work well on regular meals, so 6 meals a day. And that's generally what a lot of the health and fitness industry and the world has advised people is paleo style diet, eat little and often, exercise regularly at high intensity. So that's great for this health type. But if we look at the diplomat on the opposite side of the scale, then they are much, much better. And this is where we see huge results at fasting. So eating at 10 in the morning, a nice big lunch, and then a smaller dinner in the evening. So food at 10, 2, and 6, and exercise later in the day. From a hormonal point of view, exercising early in the morning will often smash those people that fall into this health type, throw their hormones all over the place, which means the results that they're going to get are not necessarily changing shape. They're going to start to put on tissue because their body feels like it's under stress and load. So already just with that comparison, you can see, and you're probably recognizing yourself, some of you listening, that you may fall into one of those categories. Looking at the Crusader, which is where I sit as a 70 Crusader, comparing that with the Guardian on the opposite side of the wheel. I love purpose. I love a definite goal. I'm very goal focused. The hormone that drives me is dopamine. So the great thing about dopamine is that you get a great hit when you get it. So great if you've got purpose, clear goal. On the other side, the Guardian, they're driven more by prolactin, which is a very giving hormone that is produced obviously when the mother's breastfeeding. So you don't get anything more giving than that. Social, family, connection are so important to this health type that if they're not getting those things, their stress levels will go up. So again, 2 very big comparisons there, just with the hormonal point of view. One being driven by dopamine and purpose, focus, drive. Without those things, that health type, the Crusader, will be very unhealthy. On the flip side, social, connection, family, without those things all in good place, that health type will be very unhealthy.
So again, example. Can I give an example?
Yeah, go for it. Jump in.
Yeah, the Guardian. So my mum is a Guardian, Isabel. So she's very much the mother bear of the family. She's the one that's always looking out for everybody else, to the detriment of her own health sometimes. You know, she would always be sacrificing for her children and her family. And so when I'm now training her, coming back after an aneurysm especially, I have to put things in the context of motivating her because of her family, not sporting challenge. You know, she's not motivated by looking good and feeling strong. She's motivated by being around for her family, being strong enough to look after her grandchild. Those are the types of things. So she's motivated by different things than I'm motivated by, and she's very much a giving, caring, the apex of the family, if you like, that type of person. So when you understand the differences and what drives people, and your dominant hormones are really, really key factors in that. So Neil, on the other end, dopamine, so he's always chasing massive goals and going hard out and working to the point of exhaustion. His brain's always on. I'm very much the same as well. And so we're very, very different personalities than, say, my mum. When we understand this, we know how to talk to each person in a different way that will help them understand and motivate them to do whatever it is that you're working on, whether it's a project, whether it's your fitness, whether it's nutrition. So that's just a couple of, examples within the family.
Yeah, perfect examples, Lisa. And it's just looking at, again, you looked at the hormonal comparison. Let's look now at the fitness comparison. The Crusader, the horse is there, great endurance. So good from endurance point of view, good from a running point of view, good from a cycling point of view. On the flip side, the Guardian is going to be great at powerful, big lifting movements. So great resistance training, heavy lifting, putting heavy load through that body type, and makes them feel healthy. They want to feel healthy. Putting heavy load through me will probably break me and give me back pain and a back injury. So quite distinct differences there. Looking at the last two health types, just again as a comparison, the connector and the sensor. So connector, very, very social, driven by oxytocin. So driven by the oxytocin, that they're going to need that from a health point of view. The sensor, on the other hand, is going to be better suited with activities and exercise like yoga. Okay, a lot taller, a lot leaner. You can see from the body shape that they're a lot taller and a lot leaner down at the bottom of the wheel there. On the flip side, up at the top, the connector is going to be shorter. They are going to be short in stature, and they're going to want, because of that, the oxytocin, the connection, the social, they're going to want to spend time with people. The sensor, on the other hand, is more likely going to, a social gathering for a sensor, maybe a glass of wine with one friend. So again, everyone very different. One party, the other one want to relax by the fire with a glass of wine. Okay, so everyone's different. And one of the biggest things we've seen with the program is that a lot of people will very often just sit back and go, at long last, I can just be me. I haven't got to worry about trying these different diets, trying these different exercise routines. I can just do what works for me. And a lot of people intuitively have felt this is what's worked, but because of all the other information that's surrounding them, they felt that they should try everything else first.
Yeah.
Okay. Now everyone has a different priority area as well. So if we get a quick overview of the health types, and just to reinforce again that different things will help people's genes expressed in different ways. Personally, there's the Crusader. My mind's very, very important. So allowing my mind to relax, been understanding that I need to turn the volume down on the speed at which my brain works each day is so important for my health. Using my talents or genius. So what I do each day from a business perspective, a work perspective, if I feel like I'm in flow and on purpose and doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing, I feel healthy. If I feel like I'm taking down a directional path that is not what I'm here to do, I definitely notice a difference in how my body's feeling. On the flip side, looking at the Guardian, social and food at the top of the list. So again, connection and making sure that from a food perspective, the Guardian health type is eating what's right for their body. Their body works better because of their longer digestive tract on more vegetarian-based food, and not eating as regularly throughout the day as the Crusader would. Now, it doesn't mean that social isn't important to me. It just means that if my mind and my how I'm using my daily talents and genius aren't in flow, then if I go and try and adjust social first, everything will be off. Same for a Guardian. If they're not happy with their social family, who they're connecting with, and their food's not right, what they do with their day from a talents and genius point of view is going to be irrelevant. That makes sense, Luke?
Definitely. So socially, like if my mum doesn't feel like her family's in a good place, and say someone's arguing with someone else and there's distress in the family or something like that, she's unable to exercise. She's unable to hold a good diet because she needs to deal with that first to make sure that her family and things are in, that her social connections are in a good place. And then she's got the brain space, if you like, to deal with the other things. So that's just to try to understand it. And it's not to say that the things down the bottom for everybody is not important, but if you do these in this order, because most people, when they come to the platform, they want to look at the nutrition and the exercise, and that's logical, but it's not always the place to start. For mum, I make sure she's happy socially, and then we can deal with the other pieces of the puzzle as they go down. For an activator, so I'm on the border activator Crusader, I really have to make sure that I'm moving all the time. if I'm not moving, I'm a very grumpy person.
So understanding those things and some of the bigger wins we've got with some of our clients around simple things like chronobiology. And what we mean by that is the timing that you're doing things. So simply learning that, great example is one of the ladies we work with in Australia. She simply changed the time of day she was eating and the time of day she was exercising. So she went from 6 meals a day to 3 meals a day, and from exercise in the morning to exercise in the afternoon. Didn't change anything else initially. It had struggled to lose weight for a number of years, and within the first 3 weeks had lost 4 kg, just because the stress and load was now off her body, and her body was like, oh, thank you. It makes a huge difference. Other great examples of some of the people we're working with. A good example from a Crusaders point of view, having the additional focus on mind with some additional focus around meditation and turning the volume down. All of a sudden, the productivity in their day started to go through the roof, and the connection with the family and those around them was noticeably different, because they now have taken time to step back and understand that by turning the mind down, when they get back into work and life the next day and chasing their purpose, they're a lot more productive because it's had a rest.